before I go ahead and go over some quantitative comparison questions, I want to go ahead and go over some few tips that I've written across the board over here. The first and foremost, I mean, these are the tips that you should really be focusing on. Practice on the computer. You are taking the GRE exam on the computer. I understand you've purchased our book, which is fantastic, or perhaps you have other test prep books that you've purchased, but taking the exam on paper or on a piece of or on the book is very different from taking it on the computer. Okay, so use the book. All right, but when it comes to the essay section, always write your essay on your computer. Turn off the spell check and grammar check feature. Okay, and just go ahead and write your essay. You should always go ahead. You should try to take every single practice exam, okay? Because the GRE, to sit for the GRE exam, you know, it's not the cheapest exam out there, okay? You have to pay. I believe it's some $200 something or some amount actually to take the GRE exam. You know, you want to go ahead and try to make sure that, you know, since you're spending a significant amount of money, you are already well prepared, and hopefully you will pass the GRE in one shot with flying colors, and hopefully get the score you need to go to the university you're looking for. Lastly, use the official website. Okay, it's fantastic that you're using our test prep book, but the ETS, the official website, has some great actual exams for you to practice. Although they don't have so much, although they don't have a lot of practice exams to offer you on the website, they do have a fantastic software. It's called PowerPrep 2 software. Please make sure you download the software. This software comes with, I believe, 2 practice exams, and it's very good because it's an actual simulation of what the test will be like. And it only comes with 2 practice exams, so don't go ahead. If you're new to studying for the GRE, don't go ahead and start downloading this software automatically and do both exams. Okay, don't waste those 2 exams. They're very valuable. Okay, so maybe take one of the exams. And then go ahead, use your test prep books, study for it, and finally, when you feel comfortable and you think you're ready to take an actual simulated mock exam, go ahead and take the remaining exam and see how well you do. And of course, they also have a book out with 2 more practice exams, which are on the book and paper format. So this is a very good resource to use. Make sure you download the software. Okay, absolutely do not sit for the exam without having taken these 2 exams. Because it's a very good tool to show you exactly what will happen on the test day. So let's go ahead and go over, as I promised, some quantitative comparison questions. Okay, you only have 4 answer choices on all of these questions, and your possible answer choices are A, B, C, and D. And as I've mentioned in the introduction video, A always means quantity A is greater, or column A. I've labeled this as column A, quantity A, whatever it is. Column A is greater. This value is greater. This value is greater than B. Answer choice B is always column B is greater than column A. Column B is greater than column A. C means that they're both equal, and D means not enough information is provided. We cannot conclude the correct answer. So let's go ahead and dive right into the questions and see the various types of questions that they can ask you. Right? It's all free game. They can ask you anything from algebra to arithmetics to geometry to statistics. So you want to go ahead and make sure your core foundations of mathematics are very strong. Once again, if your foundations of mathematics are not strong, don't worry about it. We will cover all the different types of foundations, from algebra to fractions to decimals. We're going to cover all of that in other videos, but this video we're just going to be covering different types of questions over here. Okay, so what does it say? A is greater than 0. Okay, that means that A is positive. Okay, so you'll be given a scrap paper. Please go ahead and write down stuff on the scrap paper. Okay, don't think you're a genius and don't try to do everything on your head. Although if it's an easy problem, then you can go ahead and do it. But always make sure and take your time. Okay, A is positive. Okay, A is positive because it's greater than 0, and it's saying that A plus B is equal to 0. Okay, so A plus B is equal to 0. So if A is a positive number, what does B have to be? You have to make that connection, right? A plus B is equal to 0. If this is a positive number, then B must be a negative number. Why? I mean, you can't have a positive number plus a positive number, and you cannot get that equal to 0. It's impossible, right? 1 plus 1 is 2, right? 2 plus any other number, any other positive number, gives you something that's not equal to 0. So I know that A is positive, therefore B must be negative. So for example, if A is equal to 1, B is equal to negative 1. 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. That satisfies the equation, right? I know that B always has to be negative, A always has to be positive. Now let's go ahead and compare our values. Column A is saying, what's greater, A or B? Well, I know that A is a positive number all the time, whereas B is always a negative number. This is an easy question, okay? So automatically you should know that this column will always be greater. Therefore, the answer choice is A, okay? Bubble it in, circle it in, okay? Let's go ahead and try to look at question number 2. The average of 2x plus 3x plus 10x plus 9 plus 27 is equal to 210. Don't make the mistake that some people are going to do right now. The average of this is equal to 210, okay? Some students automatically will go ahead and, well, I'll show you what they'll do, okay? They'll do, okay, so 10x plus 3x plus 2x is 15x plus 27 plus 9, which is going to be 36, is equal to 210. And wow, it's a very nice algebraic equation. All you have to do is subtract from 36 from both sides, divide by 15. No, you can't do that. That's not what read the question carefully. The average of this is equal to 210, okay? This goes all back to your foundations of math. How strong are you in math? Remember the average formula. What is the average formula? It is the sum of numbers over the number of numbers is equal to the average, okay? And what values are we given here? 210 is my average. Okay, fantastic. I know that the entire, so 15x plus 36, this is my sum, right? Here is my sum. And my number of numbers, there has to be a value over here, okay? So how many terms do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, very important. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 numbers over here. Okay, so the sum of numbers over number of numbers is equal to the average. Okay, and now we see 15x plus 36x is equal to 210 is drastically different from 15x plus 36 over 5 is equal to 210. This is the correct equation you want to set up. Okay, this is the average. Okay, make sure you know the average formula. Plug it in. How do you solve this? Well, first automatically we have to cross multiply. 210 times 5. Okay, and now what is 210 times 5? That's 0, 5, 10. And now we're left with 15x plus 36. So 15x plus 36 is equal to 1050. And now what you can do is go ahead and subtract from both sides. 1050 minus 36 should give you 1014 is equal to 15x, and then you can divide by 15 by both sides, because remember, you want to isolate the variable, right? Hopefully I haven't done anything too complex. If you got lost for some reason, you have to review the foundations of algebra, okay? So divide by 15 on both sides, and 1014 divided by 15 should give you 67.6. Once again, you have a calculator. Don't do this in your head. Don't spend time trying to divide 1014 by 15, okay? You don't have to be fancy. You have a calculator. Use your calculator, and you'll get the answer of 67.6. So I know that column B is x, and I know now, finally, what x is equal to. X is equal to 67.6. And now it becomes very straightforward. Column B value is 67.6. Column A value is 60. Which column is greater? Obviously column B. So I know that my answer choice will be answer choice B, that column B is greater than column A. Okay? Let's go ahead and take a look at another question. Question number 3. So I have a couple more questions over here to review. Okay? This goes over your foundation, your fundamental understandings of PEMDAS, right? Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. I am given an expression here. Okay, I have to do my parentheses first. Whatever is in my parentheses, I do that first. I have 6 plus 3. 6 plus 3 is 9. Let's go ahead and use a different color marker, okay? 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 squared times 2 plus 20, okay? What do I do next? Exponents. 9 squared is 81, right? 9 times 9 is 81 times 2 plus 20. 81 times 2, what's 81 times 2? 162 plus 80, plus 20 is equal to 182, right? Now let's go ahead and look at column B. Same thing, right? 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 squared plus 20 plus 2. And now, if you understand your foundations of mathematics already, you don't really have to even solve this, because some of you right off the bat will say, you know what? I'm multiplying 81 times 2, and over here I'm just adding, right? So I have 9 squared, which is 81, and I'll be adding. I'm not multiplying. So automatically, by default, this number will be greater, right? Because I'm multiplying by 2. Over here, I'm only adding by 2, right? So what is that? 81 plus 2 is 83. 83 plus 20, 103. Okay? This is 182. Therefore, column A is always greater. The answer is going to be answer choice A. Column A is greater than column B. Let's take a look at question number 4. Square root of 4 plus 64. Column B is 10. It's 10. Okay? Right off the back, some of you guys might say, well, hey, look at this. I know that radical 4 is actually 2, and radical 64 is actually 8, okay? And 8 plus 2 is 10. Oh, wow, great, 10 and 10. The quantities must be equal. No, do not fall for that, because, once again, this comes down to your understanding of fundamental algebra and arithmetics, okay? You have to remember the rule, right? You can't do this, okay? You can only do that if you're multiplying radical 4 times 64. Only in that case can you do that. You cannot separate radical 4 plus radical 64, okay? You actually have to add them together, 64 plus 4, which is radical 68, and radical 68 is in between 8 and 9, therefore 10 is always going to be greater. Therefore, the answer is going to be B, 10. So don't fall for that kind of trick, okay? So, there will obviously, in a lot of these questions on the actual exam, they'll always try to trick you to make sure, do you really understand the foundations of mathematics, right? If you do, then you shouldn't fall for these little mistakes. And if you do fall for them, here's your time to learn. Here's your time to make sure that you don't fall for these silly types of tricks. Question number 5. The sum of two acute angles. Column B is 180 degrees, okay? The sum of two acute angles, an acute angle is defined by any angle that is less than 90 degrees, okay? That is less than 90 degrees, okay? So the sum of two acute angles, well, I mean, the greatest value that one of the acute angles can possibly be is 89.9999999, right? It cannot be 90. It has to be less than 90. So even if I do 89.99999 plus 89.99999 degrees, right, I will not get 180 degrees. I will get 179 point something, okay? That means that my sum of two acute angles is going to always be less than 180 degrees. Therefore, column B is the correct answer choice. So hopefully, I just reviewed a couple of questions here. Of course, in later videos, I'll be reviewing a lot of the problems directly from the book. So if you get stuck on a problem, you can simply go ahead and look up video tutorials. But hopefully, you get a better understanding of the types of questions and how to approach these questions. So go ahead and good luck and have fun studying. Thank you for